Prime Field.
Welcome. In the summer of 2025, a single name began to ripple through recruiting boards and front office notebooks. Sarah Okiki, a 2007-born forward 6'4", Spanish national, a gold medal at the U18 Eurobasket, a final in which she scored 23 points. Stat line for the tournament, 13.8 points and 7.8 rebounds per game. Her recruitment reads like a ledger of competing institutional strengths. UConn, South Carolina, LSU, Tennessee. Each program brings a distinct argument. Each program offers a different route to professional basketball. The question at the center of this story is not merely where one player will enroll. It is which model of elite program will prevail in a changing recruiting landscape. This documentary asks a narrow, consequential question. As women's college basketball globalizes, which power programs can adapt, and which may be left behind? To answer that, it helps to map the field. 4 programs emerged as principal suitors. UConn leads the list, with confirmed interest reported by multiple outlets. South Carolina is firmly engaged, with visits or planned visits reported in recruiting coverage. LSU and Tennessee remain in the conversation, backed by established pipelines and program reputations. Each school represents a different recruiting posture. UConn offers a history of producing WNBA draftees and recent national title momentum. South Carolina presents roster construction built around McDonald's All-Americans and growing international additions. LSU projects upward momentum after recent success. Tennessee brings a legacy of draft production and institutional stability. Each pursuit carries implications beyond a single signing. Securing Okiki would confer a recruiting signal, evidence that a program can compete on an international scale. Failing to secure her could suggest a gap in global reach. To evaluate those implications, the next chapter examines what each program actually offers. UConn's offer rests on a concrete mix of championship pedigree and professional outcomes. The program's history includes dozens of players drafted to the WNBA and multiple first overall selections. The 2025 season reinforced immediate title contention. Preseason rankings and national expectations framed UConn as a place where high-level competition meets visible success. For an international forward like Okiki, UConn also signals increasing attention to foreign and dual national players. The program's ability to place players in the WNBA provides a clear development narrative, college success that converts into professional opportunity. That combination is central to UConn's pitch. South Carolina counters with a different set of strengths. South Carolina's argument is roster, depth, and recent recruiting class composition. That roster included a concentrated number of McDonald's All-Americans, indicating a strategy that emphasizes elite prep talent. In 2024, the program counted a significant presence of alumni in the WNBA. The roster also already included international players. Those features create a case that South Carolina can integrate international talent into an existing elite culture. For recruits who prioritize immediate competition and a pathway to the professional game, South Carolina frames itself as a program that blends top domestic talent with increasing global reach. LSU brings a different narrative, momentum, and rising expectations. LSU's appeal is tied to recent program momentum and opportunity. While LSU's historical draft output does not match the numbers of UConn or Tennessee, the program has produced recent WNBA draftees and carries a national profile after a recent title. For an international recruit, that profile can translate into immediate roles and a chance to join a program on the rise. LSU's pitch is pragmatic. Join a team with national visibility, earn playing time, and grow within a program whose expectations are rising. The offer is less about a long list of historical draft picks and more about present trajectory. Tennessee's case is rooted in legacy and development. Tennessee's value proposition is stability and a well-documented track record of producing professional players. Historically, the Lady Vols rank near to the top for WNBA draft picks. Past no-1 overall selections establish a narrative of player development that translates into professional outcomes. Even as national dominance has shifted across eras, Tennessee's institutional credibility remains intact. For recruits concerned with development over time, Tennessee presents a familiar and reliable path. Those program-level differences reflect broader shifts in recruitment, especially the international factor. Sarah Okiki's presence in this recruiting class is illustrative. She's an international player with high-level youth success. Her inclusion in the U.S. recruiting conversation signals a deliberate push by top programs to court next-generation international talent. The data point is clear. Programs are pursuing European and global prospects with increased urgency. That shift matters for program strategy. Successful recruitment of an international player like Okiki demonstrates a school's ability to operate beyond domestic scouting networks. It also suggests that programs must adapt their messaging to account for overseas development paths and very professional trajectories. The choice facing a recruit like Okiki is not only about location, it is about development timeline and visibility. 4 practical variables dominate the decision calculus. First, playing time. Front court depth charts at each program will determine immediate minutes and development windows. UConn and South Carolina both roster high-end front court talent, which affects near-term opportunity. LSU and Tennessee may offer different timelines. Second, development pathways. Historical draft outcomes form part of the pitch. Programs with consistent WNBA placement can demonstrate reproducible development. Third, exposure. National rankings, media attention, and March performance provide visibility that matters to professional evaluators. Fourth, the WNBA draft timeline and alternative professional routes. An international recruit may weigh U.S. college exposure against early pro options abroad. Each path alters how programs present the value of college. These are not abstract considerations. They are quantifiable trade-offs that inform both recruit decisions and program messaging. The implications extend into institutional strategy and NIL considerations. Okiki's recruitment illuminates structural pressures. Programs that build international scouting networks and offer transparent pathways to both the WNBA and overseas pro leagues gain leverage. NIL frameworks add another dimension. Schools able to demonstrate meaningful name value opportunities, both domestic and international, may hold an advantage. If power programs respond by expanding global scouting, future recruiting classes may display increased diversity in national origin. That would force resource allocation changes, investment in international scouting, translation services, and development messaging tailored to non-U.S. prospects. Transition. But what happens if a marquee international target chooses a different path? If UConn fails to land Okiki, the loss would carry both immediate and symbolic weight. Immediately, the 2026 class composition would shift. The roster's international breadth might narrow relative to rivals. Symbolically, the miss could be interpreted as a gap in global momentum. Another program, South Carolina, LSU, or Tennessee, would gain not only the recruit, but also a narrative asset, proof of international recruiting competence. Conversely, if UConn secures Okiki, that would reinforce the program's claim of adapting to global recruitment realities. Either outcome affects how subsequent international prospects perceive program competitiveness. That outcome links to institutional legacy and the future shape of the women's game. The recruitment of Sarah Okiki is a test case. It measures how traditional power programs perform amid a changing internationalized talent market. Securing elite international recruits will be one of several markers indicating which programs can sustain or rebuild dominance. This recruitment is not merely a roster note, it is a moment of institutional signal. Programs that demonstrate consistent global reach will alter recruiting equilibria. Programs that do not may need to recalibrate their models. The long-term impact touches player development, draft outcomes, and the geographic origins of future star talent. The choice of one player will not alone rewrite history, but it will mark the next adjustment in a competitive landscape that is increasingly global.
Prime Field.